Ballers! What's going on? It's Preacher. And yeah, I'm playing a Rep Pally. I'm trying it out for WoD, and you might ask yourself, why? Why? Because you've been an absolute jerk to Paladins throughout Mists of Pandaria. And you would not be wrong. You wouldn't be. You would be perfectly within your right to say, Preacher, get off. You're embarrassing yourself. I have been one of the most outspoken critics of the Paladin throughout Mists of Pandaria. I feel that the Rep Paladin, it walks when it should run. Its abilities are clunky. They don't make any sense. They're mishmashed and reworked from an older period of time when they kind of made sense, but now they're just hobbled and cobbled together by thatching just to keep them working and keep the Rep Paladin going. Prop Paladins, I've said exactly the same thing. Their skills are basically the same as the Rep Paladin, and their supposed reactive tanking abilities are in fact just passively added on and don't require utmost of thinking in order to get them done right. We don't require an IQ of 600 in order to work out when and when we shouldn't use Shield of the Righteous. When it comes to Holy, my god, I find that spec an insult in its current state. An absolute insult to the class. It's no longer good enough just to heal the people who take damage. Now we must mindlessly throw out absorbs, hoping that they take damage so that we can justify our position on the meters. But here I am. So I have to ask myself the question, why do I keep having so much goddamn fun with it? I shouldn't be enjoying myself as much as I am. But I am, and every time I play it, and I've said this as well throughout all the videos and content I've made about the Paladin over this last expansion, is every time I play it, I just have a blast. I really do, and I shouldn't. And it feels dirty and awkward. It feels like I'm hurting myself by enjoying this class so much. But I do. The last few days I've been playing all different kinds of classes. I'm trying to get that right one. The one I'm prepared to invest my time and energy into. One that I can stick with throughout an expansion. One that ticks all my criteria. When I write my criteria down, when I eliminate the classes I don't want to play, the Paladin ticks all the boxes, for fuck's sake, it does! It does tick all the boxes! I want to feel involved, I want to feel heavily in the action, while as a melee, very hard not to feel that way. I do feel that way all the time, because I'm just down in the nitty gritty, I'm down in the mud with my melee brothers while the ranged are off, sunning themselves on the beach. I'm in there, I'm in the nitty gritty, I'm crawling through the barbed wire in order to make things work. Raid utility. I said when I played the Hunter that, yeah, you know, it's a fun spec, I have fun with it, but very quickly I start to feel like I'm just the DPS. I'm just there to put out numbers and just to reduce boss health. I'm not adding anything to the raid that's really substantial and coherent. Paladins do that in fucking spades, and you're going to see that throughout this video that I decided to show you here, this one Garrosh Hellscream fight. I'm throwing off heals, I'm aura mastering on cooldown, I'm preventing raid damage. Excuse me. I'm doing so many things that help this raid in its direst of dire times, and this fight is a dire time, let me tell you. I'm doing all of those things, and it ticks that box as well. I'm meeting my requirements. I love tanking so much that I can do that with the Paladin. If I'm asked to, and if I'm required to, I can switch over to tank. With the way Warlords of Draenor's gearing works, I could probably do that in pretty much the same gear. I've always hated that when it came to doing the guides for the Paladin, that one of the things I've always had to do is farm 3 different sets of gear. Maybe I'll still have to do that. Maybe the new system won't quite hit the mark. But they say it will. I kind of have to put my faith in Blizzard on that one. When I look at the level 100 talents, I don't see anything inspiring. I don't see anything fun. But that tells me something. It tells me that the Paladin's kind of working as they want it to do. It's doing its job. They're probably not going to play around with it too much, because all the new 100 talents do is just kind of alter things a little bit, replace spells. We're going to see Templar's Verdict mixed around, and it's like, you know what? Blizzard seems pretty comfortable with where the Paladin is. And my mind tells me, as somebody who's so focused on the mechanics of the game and making sure, and just feeling like everything works as it should, is that the Paladin doesn't quite do that, but it still works. And after a few hours of playing it, it just kind of makes sense. And it doesn't bother me that much. The more I play it, the less I care about the fact that I've got to count the mobs, because counting mobs isn't hard. I feel like a bit of a hypocrite. I do feel like a bit of a hypocrite. And how can I not? How can I not feel like a hypocrite? Because I've fought hard to have this spec changed. And Blizzard's just said, nah, you know what? It works. We're okay with it. The Holy Power was a great addition. I agree, Holy Power works well. Yeah, the spells have been reworked and they kind of have 4 or 5 different uses in some areas, but you know what? It's fine. It's no big deal. And there's one thing that really brings me back that I think is important. I think it's really important. It's one of the reasons I had to discount the Warrior. The Paladin has remained faithful to its roots. Of all the class changes that we've seen over the years, I've done the Legacy of the Paladin video. That's out there. And one of the things that I couldn't help but point out is, no matter what has happened to this class, it's a Paladin. And it has every single sign that it's a Paladin. It's unquestionably a Paladin. It's unquestionably still sticking faithful to what the Paladin is about. Charging the light. And as much as I'm not into role-playing or any of that kind of stuff, there is something about it that just tingles correct, that I know when I'm on this class. It's incredibly unique. And I can't say that for other classes. A lot of classes play very, very similar. They just play like a very homogenous mulch of other classes mishmashed together. And I kind of go, okay, well, yeah, you've called that spell something else, but it's basically the same thing. I don't give a shit. You can call it whatever you want, Blizz, but Shield Slam is still Shield of the Righteous, is still this, is still that. And then ultimately, they all start to feel very samey. But the Paladin doesn't. The hands, the masteries, the lay-on hands, the wings, the guardian, not only do they look spectacular, and they do, but they're exactly what a Paladin should have. And that really does bring a lot of fun out of this class. I've got to say, right now, this has got to be the forerunner for me. Right now, as stupid as it sounds, as much hate as I have given this, it still sticks out as that spec that it meets my criteria. It does everything I want it to do. I can mix and mash, I can solo play, I can tank, I can heal if needed, as much as I hope and pray that it gets reworked. I would love to see a return to the Cataclysm Holy Paladin style of play. Unlikely, maybe, but healing is getting a massive jaunt. But it does everything I want it to do, and I've had such a great time just fooling around with it, gearing it up, jumping up about 50 item levels, despite the fact that I'm still wielding the mighty Star Shatter that comes from Mogashun Vaults. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Gear's irrelevant. I'm just having fun doing it. And not a lot of classes can say that. I can play a class for many, many hours, and towards the end of it, I'm kind of done. I'm ready to switch it off. But even as I record this, I'm more than ready to jump back on my Paladin and just do that little bit more. Maybe I'll get that coin roll and just have a great time doing it and not that interested in anything else. Looking after myself, constantly paying attention to grid. What can I do here to help? Does somebody need a Hand of Freedom? Does the tank need a sacrifice? Should I throw a Lay on Hands? Where should my flash heal go? I've got this big powerful flash heal all the time. And you can see how often I'm using and abusing those things. Even abusing Arcane Torrent as a Blood Elf. I gotta say, I give Blood Elves a lot of stick in our Transmog shows. But I still think my character looks fantastic. I do think it looks fantastic, despite what I might have said in the past. I'm always joking around with you guys, but I do. I like the look of it. Whether or not I'll get to keep it that way, I don't know. But even if I don't, what class doesn't look cool in Judgment Armor? Not many. Not many. So it ticks that box as well. As a very low priority thing, my character looks cool. I wield a big 2H, which is what I always love. It's one of the things I love about these kind of games. If I'm playing an RPG, I want to be the big berserker. Not a big fan of dual wield. For some reason, I can't explain it. But the Ret Paladin doesn't have that problem either. I tried to find a reason not to go ahead with it. I'm still going to try out other classes. The decision isn't final yet, but good God, it's good. Good God, I'm having fun with it. And I can't really find a reason that there's a problem. It's got its errors here and there, but they all disappear with overwhelming goodness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this video play out for you. It looks like it's going to be a wipe, right? Let's see what happens. See you later, guys. Be good.